Okay, we're going to continue with radicals. Keep in mind, every time you look at one of these, first thing I want you to do is look at the index. So we got index 3, index of 3, index of, hopefully you're saying 2, index of 2, index of 4, index of 5. Remember, that tells us the number of parts, equal parts that we're looking for. So we're looking for an answer that has one of 3 equal parts for each of these. Okay, so we'll start here. So as you go through, maybe you're saying, well, I know it's going to be, equal part is going to be 2. If you take the time and write out something along this lines, it will help later. Yes, the answer is going to be 2. This says the base is 2, and I have 3 factors of that, 3 equal parts. So I know that this is going to be 2. But what about this? All we did was change the sign in front, right? Well, if we go through and do that, we can think of it as this. Negative 2 quantity cubed. So that says negative 2 times itself 3 times. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So when I look at this, the one of 3 equal parts is going to be negative 2. Well, when we look at this, we know that this is the square root of 17. Remember, if it's not written, it's the square root. So as we look at this, we're looking for the one of 2 equal parts. Well, closest to this is 16, but 16 is not 17. So as we look at this, I'm going to grab my phone. As we look at this, we need to be able to sometimes evaluate this. This is going to be a calculator problem. Okay? I don't expect off the top of your head to know that it's going to be 4 point something. I know that the closest value is going to be square root of 16 would be 4, but it's not, again, it's not 16. So as I go through and evaluate this, on the instructions, I would say, well, evaluate this part to so many decimal places. Really, it comes down to practicing the rounding. Remember, if it's 4 below, you keep drop the value off. If it's 5 or above, you round up the value. So if we come in here and select the right item, calculator. If I plug in 17, well, let's do this correctly. So I want the square root of 17. So I get 4.123 105. Continuing. Well, for this, different subjects, different areas will have you round differently. For me, in chemistry, it was 3 decimal places because that's the sensitivity of the scales. Business, you round into 2 decimal places. Okay, so if I ask to round to, let's say, 2 decimal places, I want to round to 2. When we talk about rounding decimal places, we're always talking past the decimal. So I want to round to 2 decimal places. I want to look at the third. If I wanted to round to 3, I would look at the fourth. If I want to round to 4, I look at the fifth. 3 is below 5. So what I would have is we'd use the approximate symbol. So I'm looking here. 3 is not above 5, so 0 to 4 I drop it off, so I just have approximately 4.12. Okay? So always be mindful of the rounding that you want to go through and do. If I now want to evaluate the next one, again, I don't expect you to understand that off top, know that off the top of your head. This is trying to get you some easy points. Square root of 1138, the one of 2 equal parts. Sometimes that one of 2 equal parts is going to be an irrational value. Non-terminating, non-ending decimal. So, the square root, if I can get this to work, square root 1138, except that's not it, clear, square root 1138. I get 33.734255, etc. Well, let's round to 4 places. Remember, past the decimal. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking here. at the 5th spot. So it's 5 or above, so I'm going to round this up. So I have approximately 33.7343 would be my solution. Okay, so be able to evaluate using a calculator. You don't need a scientific calculator. Just be able to have a, even if it's just a basic scientific, be able to do the square root, be able to do the cube root. If you do math on the Texas Instrument, math, I believe it's 3 or 4, would give you the cube root symbol as well. Okay, so when we look at this, we're looking at the index. It's a 4. 4th root of 81. What item times itself would give us 81? As you go through, this could be calculator work, but again, we started to put to memory perfect squares, perfect cubes. Even if you create a list of perfect to the 4th or perfect to the 5th, if you can do that, it'll help down the line. Well, we knew that 2 cubed was 8. Well, 8 is far less than 81. So if I do times 2 again, 2 to the 4th would only be 16. Well, if I go try the next one, 3 to the 4th, see what that is. 4 to the 4th, see what that is. Well, 81 happens to be 3 to the 4th. That base times itself by that number. That is the one of 4 equal parts for this problem. Oops. So not that. So this is 3. The one of 5 equal parts. Well, again, start a process. Say try to 2 to the 5th, then 3 to the 5th, 4 to the 5th. Well, we knew that 3 to the 4th was 3, or 3 to the 4th was 81. Well, 3 to the 5th is going to be larger than 81, so maybe go back to 2. 2 to the 3rd was 8, times 2 is 2 to the 4th, times 2 again is, so 2 to the 5th is equivalent to 32. The 2 is the one of 5 equal parts. Okay, so here's the first, actually in the next, starting the next clip, and once we get through the next clip, we're going to have your first you try problem. And it'll be 2 or 3 little items. So we'll build on these. Okay?